This is The Good Show. Welcome to this week's episode. My name's Surinder. I am your host. And this is The Good Show. I'm sitting here with Kimberly Brinkman, my partner in crime. And this episode is brought to you by Sedano Automobiles. 5 locations in San Diego to fit all of your vehicle needs.
And because you only drive Fords, because why?
That's right. I only drive a Ford because when I moved to the United States, I thought, okay, I need to assimilate. And the first thing I thought that I needed to do was buy a Ford, because where I come from, we got those commercials with a big ass Ford, and I was like, that's going to be my car when I move to the States. So that's why I drive a Ford, apart from the fact they're reliable and all the rest of that good stuff.
And you drove that Ford for like 20 years.
Yeah, all I've ever driven since I've been in the US for 28, 29 years is a Ford. I've never driven another kind of car. Don't think I ever will, to be honest with you. You know?
And you're driving an absolutely beautiful Ford right now.
Absolutely nice new Ford Explorer, courtesy of Sedano Ford. And it's a great little runaround. And it's great on gas. Even if I'm in Cali, it's still good on gas. So I love that. So today, we want to point out, first of all, our disclaimer here is this is not a political podcast.
No, not at all.
No.
This is about you being in the United States in the 4th of July in 250 years.
That's right.
And you are a citizen?
That's right. That is right.
And
very proud citizen.
Let's start. What brought you to America?
Well, I came to the States via the Middle East, but I always knew from a very early age, and I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I always knew from a very early age I had been born in the wrong country.
Really?
Yes, I knew I felt like I shouldn't be there in Scotland, in England. I just knew that was not where I was going to blossom. I didn't know where it was going to be, but I knew it wasn't going to be there.
So you didn't think, oh, I need to go to America. You just didn't want to be where you were at. You just didn't think you belonged there.
I knew I didn't belong there, and the first thing that I'd seen about America was, I remember, really young, watching all those lines of the gas lines. People were lining up to get gas, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my good golly, man, you can't get gas over there. You know, what kind of crazy place is that? But, you know, my sister moved to the States over 50 years ago at a time when the States were crying out for nurses. And so she moved to the States, and the first place she moved to was Arkansas. So Arkansas was the first place that I visited. And
I didn't know that. So you came to the States when you were younger?
Yeah, I came to visit her, and I remember we went to Disneyland and did all those kind of things, you know. And I remember, and I say this with all love and light, I mean, Arkansas wasn't my idea of what the States, you know,
It wasn't like going to New York City or LA or something.
You know. But I thought, okay, you know. But I do remember that being here, even at an early age, seeing everything, picking up the vibe, I just thought, this is where I want to be. This is the States, is where I fit in.
So how did you get here?
Well, I moved to the Middle East. I became a flight attendant, and you know, we had during the Gulf War, we had a lot of the, you know, military coming in, and it was just really cool. I thought it was really cool to be talking to these guys about their lives, why they joined the military. There just seemed to be this tightness, you know, that I didn't really experience growing up. And I remember at one point thinking, I wonder if I can join the US military.
Really?
Yeah, I thought maybe I should join the US military, but you know, I was an American. So I was like, okay, they're not going to let me join. But then, you know, like most, you know, foreign-born spouses, I guess I met a guy. And I actually didn't meet him outside of the country. I met him in Coronado. And a girlfriend of mine had met another guy that was in Coronado, and we came over to visit her and just make sure.
What a nice place to go visit.
I know. I was like, wow.
No wonder why you haven't left here.
Yeah, I just remember coming into Coronado, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing, because I lived on an island in the Middle East called Bahrain, which was about 30 minutes away from Saudi Arabia. And here I am. I landed in San Diego. I never forget this. I landed at Lindbergh Field with another roommate. We walked outside. I looked at everything and I thought, man, I think this is really where I want to be.
You felt at home.
Yeah. We got a rental car. I remember driving over that Coronado Bridge, looking at the island, thinking, this is so cool.
So when you got here, what was your biggest culture shock?
Now, before coming here, we did travel from Bahrain, you know, as flight attendants. We did travel to New York, so I'd experienced New York,
Okay.
you know. But I think the biggest culture shock to me was, I mean, when I was a flight attendant, you know, you're living life. You're not really thinking about money. But I remember when I moved here, the first thing that there was a bit of a culture shock to me was when you go into a store, the price that you see on the store is not the price you pay.
I know, you've said that about the taxes.
Yeah, I'm like, what are these taxes? Because where I come from in Britain, they add the tax into the product, so the price you pay on the shelf is the price you pay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I just kept thinking that the lady at Vons was overcharging me. And
Screwing you over.
Yeah. And I'm
She's like, oh,
yeah.
This 50 Shades of Brown.
Yeah.
They're just charging you extra.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? So the lady at the grocery store explained taxes to me. She was like, no, we add the tax on when you come to the cash register, which I thought was kind of crazy, but, you know, I was like, so how are you meant to budget? Because I didn't even know what the tax rate was, or I knew nothing about that. So every time I bought something, I just added like $1.50 onto it.
Okay, so you come here, you learn about taxes, you're with your friend, and you meet a Navy SEAL.
I sure do. Yeah.
And so then what was the citizenship process like? What happened? How did you become a citizen? What went down?
First of all, it took me over 12 years to get citizenship.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, the whole process was insane.
So you met your husband, you guys got married.
Yep.
And you still weren't a citizen.
No.
I thought that when you come over here and get married, you become a citizen.
No. What happens is you get here. Now, this was at the time when I moved here. Remember, this was like 28 years ago. And the immigration process was you put in all your paperwork. First of all, it wasn't favorable that you'd got married and now you're changing your status. For me, I was here on a British visa, so I was allowed to be here for 3 months. Wasn't allowed to work.
This was after you were married?
No, this is before I was married.
Okay.
So you could be here for 3 months, not have a visa, but you're not allowed to work.
So how are you supposed to survive?
Well, I guess, you know, you bring in your...
Navy SEAL.
Yeah, but
You must have been a good woman.
Well, you know, I bought in every little red cent that I had when I moved here, so that's what I lived off. But you filed your paperwork at immigration, and my biggest thing was I gotta get a work permit. Because I was going insane. In fact, what I ended up doing was we lived in Coronado, we lived opposite the high school, and I remember I enrolled for classes. Cooking classes, whatever classes they had that were free. I just had to get out the apartment. I had to do something. And the other thing that I thought was so cool was they said the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. Now, I didn't know the Pledge of Allegiance at the time, so, you know...
Do they have something like that in your country? Like,
no, not at all.
They didn't do anything like that in school?
No.
Because I remember growing up, you did the Pledge of Allegiance every morning.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have that.
Do they even do that now?
I hope so.
We're not getting political.
Yeah, I hope they do it. But I went to Coronado High School for these evening classes and whatever. And then I went back to the INS, and it's a process.
INS?
Yeah, Immigration Naturalization Services. Okay. And I said to them, I want my work permit. So every time we filed a piece of paperwork, we had to... You paid for it.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you pay for it?
Yeah, it's just the way it was. But you know the crazy thing was, Kim, the harder they made it for me, the more I wanted it. I was like, all right. Yeah, I want it. I'm in it to win it. So we got married. We filed that paperwork. I remember then I went and filed for a work permit. And because I'd been a flight attendant in the Middle East, my thought was, okay, I'm going to do something along the airline industry work kind of thing. I remember getting my work permit on Monday. I got my interview on Tuesday, and I started work on Wednesday. And I was happier than a pig in shit.
What'd you do?
I was working, it was 4 hours a week. They had
4 hours a week?
Yeah. They had one flight that left Lindbergh Field, British Airways, had one flight a week that went back to London. I was, checked people in, whatever, I was ground staff. I was making a whopping $7.25 an hour.
Oh, look at that.
And I was
Can you
like,
imagine?
oh yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm in the workforce. And so from there, they gave me, after a period of time, they ended up giving me what's called a green card. And a green card, I could stay here for 10 years.
And work.
And work, everything, yeah, pay my taxes, whatever. And that was another thing, again, taxes to this day, they're confusing to me because when I was making $7.25 an hour and I got my first wage check, it was 4 hours. Well, you know what I mean?
You got like $30.
I did, and there were no taxes.
You had lots of ramen that week.
And there was no taxes taken out, or very, very little, And then I remember when I got a job in the corporate world and I was making a half decent living, I got my first wage and half of it wasn't there. And I'm like, what's that? And they were like, my husband was like, well, you got to pay taxes. I mean, these taxes have been the bane of my life since I moved here, but still, So anyway, they gave me the green card. Green card is with you for 10 years, and I knew that I wasn't going to be moving anywhere else. I knew I was home.
So you were already married.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you officially became an American citizen? Tell me that story.
It was the most, and I feel myself getting emotional actually.
Don't cry.
I remember you have to sit a test, and they gave me all the books.
Like on a computer and stuff?
No. You had to go in, and I was like with other people and
like a board.
No, it's like there's a lot of us in this room. I guess all immigrants, and we're sitting this test. You got to learn all about America, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the history of it, and then they test you on all of that. And so I went in, I sat my test, and I remember they called me back and they said to me, "You passed," and I burst into tears. Because I just thought, well, first of all, thank God. But I thought, okay, I'm home. I don't want to leave here now. I can't leave here now. I'm married. And by that time, I had a kid. I had my firstborn, Jake. So I've had a kid. I'm still not a citizen.
So you're not a citizen. You have a child. So is your child dual citizenship?
No, he's an American.
He's an American, so he wouldn't have the citizenship over there because...
No, I denounced that. I didn't want...
But he could be.
He could have, but what was the point? I was never going to go back there.
Yeah.
I
didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, he could have been. I could have still kept it, but I chose not to because, again, for me going back to where I came from, excluding the Middle East, for me going back was just not an option. That was just not what I wanted to do, and it was a shithole. So I kind of like, that's not where I'm going back. And so I sat my test. They said, you got it. And then they said, you got to come down next week. And what's going to happen is you're going to have like...
there's Grammy in the background.
Oh, hey, Grammy.
Oh, my gosh.
Mom.
Yes, you're on the podcast now, Janice.
Hello.
She's doing the laundry. That's what a Polish immigrant does.
So they said to me, you're going to come back on Friday. You're going to say the oath, and you're going to be sworn in with 400 other people. And I remember I looked at the guy at the immigration and I went, oh no, my friend, that is not for me. I take this seriously. We're in San Diego. It's taken me 12 years. And the only reason they did it, Kim, was because I went to them. After 9/11, I went to them and I went, hey man, you know something? I've been living on this green card. I've built a business. You
had the coffee cards?
Well, I just started them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I'm like, look, I'm building a business here. I need to be a citizen. So I don't know when they would have got back to me, but I went to them and I went, I need my citizenship. So I will say this about the INS and that particular guy that day. He looked at me and he said, I'll tell you what, He said, why don't you come in on Friday? We don't normally do this on Friday. He said, but why don't you come in on Friday, bring your kid, bring your husband, and you can say the oath, and we will give you your citizenship. And so we went in on Friday, just the four of us, and I was sworn in as an American citizen, and I cried all the way through it. And then I had this crazy party at my house, and everybody kept saying to me, what's the party for? What's the party for? They couldn't understand why I was having this party. And they started playing my song, Lee Greenwood, Proud to be an American. I cried all the way through it. My husband was for crying out loud. And I said to him, I said, you know, if you haven't been born here, oh my God, if you haven't been born here and you move in here, you move in your whole life here, I'm going to be buried here, and this is where I want to be. It was very emotional to me.
So what does the 4th of July mean to you?
It means everything. It means a lot to me. Oh my God, I am going to cry, okay?
You guys, you haven't seen this side of Serinda, the little flower that she really is.
This episode of The Good Show is proudly sponsored by Sedano Automotive Group. Whether you're shopping for a new vehicle, a quality pre-owned car, or expert service you can trust, Sedano Automotive Group is committed to delivering an exceptional customer experience every step of the way. With locations across San Diego representing Ford, Lincoln, Chevrolet, Volkswagen, and more, their knowledgeable team is ready to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit SedanoAutogroup.com and discover why so many Southern Californians choose Sedano Automotive Group.
So we said that tea is better in Scotland.
Well, yeah, but you can get it over here. The only thing I think I miss from back home is my family. I don't miss the dreary weather.
What is the weather like there?
You know,
Are there 4 seasons?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, in Scotland, I mean, here I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You want to go out and have a run. There you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black, and it's cold.
So is it 4 seasons like winter, spring, summer, fall?
Yeah. But the summer's not very long.
No.
And the rain.
And is it the same months as the seasons here?
Yeah. So like through September onwards, right through to maybe February, you know, it's dreary and cold. And you know, there's some truth about that seasonal adjustment disorder. That's what they call it. The weather has a huge impact on your mental health kind of thing. You don't want to do anything when it's shitty.
That's true.
You know, I think the other thing that I do miss is, you know, I like to play golf when it was just drizzling.
Really?
Yeah.
You play golf over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you feel American, Scottish, or a little bit of both?
American.
But you sound Scottish.
Unfortunately, yes. But yeah, no, I don't think I'm ever going to lose the accent. I mean, I've tried it a million times, but no, I am 100% American and wouldn't have it any other way. Any other way.
So if you were to talk to yourself as a younger American, what would you say to yourself?
I would say to myself, listen, just, you know, I'm a basic kind of person. I would say to myself, hey, listen, just do what you've been doing, dot your I's, cross your T's, go do a good day's work, live within your means.
Just be a good person.
Just be a good citizen. That's it. It's simple.
So what message would you share to other military spouses about the 4th of July?
4th of July is really important because this country deserves to be celebrated. 250, that's right. You, as a military spouse, deserve to be celebrated because, again, we are the backbone to the backbone, Kim. You know, the deployments that I've experienced have gone into double digits. And I think, you know, in our community, in NSW, me and Gouda look like, you know, I'm an OG. How come you're still married to this guy? You know, or, you know, because the divorce rate is insane. I think the divorce rate is crazy throughout the military anyway. But give yourself some grace. I think that's important as well for spouses. Give yourself some grace because what we do is not easy. And you're going to have 4th of July without your guy. There's going to, I've had...
Births, Christmases.
Yeah. I had my first child without my husband.
Yep.
He was away getting Sailor of the Year, which I had absolutely zero understanding of. I'm just like, hey, dude, you're not here. But yeah, it's important to appreciate the soil that we walk on. And I think if military spouses ever go a CONUS, or even like you live in Guam, even though that's classed as part of the US, it is only then you realize
the appreciation you have.
Exactly.
And appreciate your spouse
and
what he's doing and treat him right.
Yeah.
Give him little head scratches.
That's what Kimmy does. And my husband's tall. I can't reach his head. But yeah, we chose this life. We did. We chose. I realized early on that when I said I do, I really had just signed on the dotted line. That's what I had done. And again, for me, and this is not for every military spouse, but for me, being a flight attendant, I was very used to packing a bag, going somewhere, coming back, going somewhere. So I was okay with Good and all his workups and his deployments and stuff like that. And then again...
You're an independent, strong woman, though.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is military spouses, listen, if you got a business, because I started off my business, and the one mistake I did make, Kim, was this. I did not realize when I opened up my very first coffee cart that should he have to move, I got a business. And we did have a situation where I was kind of like, well, dude, I actually have a structure. So I'm not going anywhere, so I'll see you when you get back kind of deal. And that's just how we had to maneuver that,
So you've lived in 1 million countries.
Mm-hmm.
You supported a Navy SEAL for almost, 28 years?
29 years, yeah.
29 years?
Yeah.
So when you hear that American anthem come on, what goes through your mind? Look, you're never going to see the side of Surinder.
Even when it's Super Bowl, I have to stand outside because my husband's always like, oh my gosh, here she goes. But
and then she makes me cry, and I don't cry either. So we probably shouldn't put this podcast out there because our husband's going to know we're women. We're flowers.
It does really, truly evoke that kind of emotion in me because I know the immigration system ain't great. I remember one day going into the immigration, we went at 4:00 in the morning and we lined up outside Ash Street. That was the time, right? And we lining up outside Ash Street. And when it was my turn, I got in there, whatever. And the woman looked at me and she went, now, do you understand that you have to? And I looked at her and I went, hey, lady.
Sign language.
I was like, lady, I ain't deaf. But it's human nature. When you think somebody doesn't speak your language, for some reason, you tend to talk a bit louder.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I know. It was difficult to go through. And my medical portion of the immigration was they check every orifice. They did all the blood work. They put it into an envelope. They had a big-ass red seal on that envelope.
Really?
And they said to me, this is what has to be presented to immigration. And if you mess with this envelope...
So you can't open the envelope?
No, if it's tampered with in any way, shape, or form, it's null and void. And if you have... Check this out. They said to me, if you have... And I can't pronounce the word properly, but if you have a communicable, contagious disease, I guess... we will tell the service member first before we tell you because we will not have that burden added on to our medical system.
Oh, wow.
Right? Which, to be honest with you, I'd moved from one country to the Middle East. I'd worked for the richest man in the world, and all along the way, there was medicals here, medicals there, making sure that you were fit, you were healthy, you weren't up to no good kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about my medical, but I was amazed at, okay, these are the rules. And this, where I come from, my dad was a simple guy, said very few words, but he came from the school of, hey, if you do the right thing, you can't go wrong. follow the directions, you'll be good. Because my parents were immigrants to Britain, you know, after the British Raj. So my dad was always like, you never want to be anywhere where you're constantly looking over your shoulder, you know. And I didn't want to be here looking over my shoulder. And I didn't marry the kind of guy who was going to allow me to do that, you know. So the path that I traveled to my citizenship, to be in this great country, regardless of how difficult it was, regardless of, you know, where they wanted me to bend over and spread them, to me, that was the choice. I had the choice. And I chose to go through that system, and going through that system, becoming a citizen has allowed me to build one business after another business.
All the freedom.
All the freedom in the world. Again, remember, I come from a culture where you're told what to do, you're told how to do it.
They tried marrying you off.
Yeah, they tried marrying me off, seriously. You know, so I come from that. So I know...
So the American Anthem.
Yeah. Kills me every time. And I remember I was someplace, it was my kid's high school when he was playing football. And, you know, we're singing the National Anthem.
Oh, that's emotional no matter what. Even when they hold up their helmets. And, and then he looks at you.
I know. But there was somebody there that didn't remove their hat. And I so badly wanted to go over and go, hey, take your fucking hat off. You know, because I just thought that was incredibly disrespectful. But again, you know, I'm old school.
And this is the US. And if you don't want to take off your hat, you don't have to take off your hat.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't agree with that because it's like, hey, man, you got to take off your hat.
Yeah.
It's not an option.
Because you respect
the
country so much.
Yeah, you like I said, you know, my children are born here. I've built businesses here. I got my last name here. You know,
but that kind of shit is what happens in the U.S. and you have every right to do whatever you want to do. That's what makes the United States great. Everybody
This is true.
Can do what they want to do.
It just hurts my heart.
I know, but we're not getting political.
We're not. We're not. But no,
that's another story.
Yes, but you know, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right country.
All the freedoms.
And
you've done great things. And
I'd like to think so.
Things. And we have these amazing earrings.
You see?
From Let's Make a Deal.
That's right. See? I mean, I would never have gone on Let's Make a Deal if I was back home. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have that program. And everything we watched back home was American.
Did you even get anything from Let's Make a Deal yet?
I've got to check that. Actually, I have to check that. I'm glad you mentioned that. But
that's what I'm here for.
But I do remember as well, back home, the big things that we watched were Dallas. Now,
they played Dallas?
Yeah, you know, the Dallas is in J.R. Ewing. Yeah. Younger people won't remember that. Who shot J.R.? Went through...
I mean, I don't remember it, but I know what Dallas is.
Oh, I watched every episode.
They have soap operas and all that?
American soap operas. Yes. Yeah, they had
Days
American...
of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, yes. I remember the day Elvis died. I distinctly remember the day Elvis died because it was like people in my household were upset. And I mean, because he was such an icon to us, you know what I mean? And I grew up, rightly or wrongly, don't blame my mom or dad, but rightly or wrongly, I grew up listening to Ronnie Reagan, you know?
He spoke well.
Yeah, you know, I was enthralled by his presence and just, you know. And the crazy thing is, Kim, since I've been in the United States, I've had the privilege of going to the White House. I've walked through the Pentagon. I have met 2 presidents.
You went on Air Force One.
I was on Air Force One.
So the new ones, we need to get on those. Trump.
So this is crazy from what I come from as an immigrant.
You've done amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, all of these opportunities, again, I would never have had them back in Britain, not where I come from, you know. So every day that I'm here, I count my blessings. July the 4th is more than just a party of drinking. Same as Memorial Day. I think sometimes we lose
touch of that.
We forget what the holiday is for or about. But I respect the office. I was always taught to respect the office. I am a patriot. I am an American. And I'm very proud of that.
You're amazing. I love you.
I love you too, girl. So July the 4th, guys, when we're celebrating America 250, be grateful. Give each other some grace. Spouses, I know those of you who don't have your partners at home, it's hard, it's difficult, but we have a great community. And I know there's some good things going on in San Diego. So get out there, take your kids, enjoy the day, and just,
live free.
Yeah, live free and count your blessings. So,
This is it.
This is it.
And this is it. I finished my drink.
She finished hers. Cheers, America 250. Thank you for everything it's given me. I'm incredibly grateful. Along with the Coors Light. Silver Bullet.
This is Kim. This is Surinder.
And we're out. Thanks for tuning into The Good Show. If you loved what you heard, follow me on Instagram @The Good Show.